You read them. You read it.
Yeah, so anything you wanted to say first? No. I'll get it started. All right.
Nothing.
I'll just share the get it up on the screen. So we can, as we've been having occasionally, this Vedanta Book Club meeting. Let me just boost my. Well, today it's not led by Prabhuji Gayatri Pranaji, it's Sridhar Pranaji with us today. And we are continuing to tap into the book Vedanta in Practice, Spiritual Unfoldment, lectures by our dear revered Prabhuji Gayatri Pranaji. And this is one chapter from the book, Refining the Ego. Here's the introduction. When we say refining the ego, we admit that the ego is there and needs refining. Once refined, it can be a powerful tool in our hands. That is the underlying belief behind this attempt at refining the ego. Sri Ramakrishna mentions an incident in Sankaracharya's life. Sri Shankara had a disciple serving him for a long time, but had not been given any instruction by the Guru. One day, when Sankaracharya was engaged in writing, he heard footsteps. Without raising his head, he asked, "Who is there?" Out came the reply, "It is I." Sankaracharya said, "If this I of yours is so dear to you, either expand it to infinite proportions and know the universe as yourself, or renounce it altogether. These are the two ways to confront the ego. If we allow it to remain as it is, it could be dangerous. The secret is to either expand it to infinite proportions or contract it to such a degree that it disappears."
Beautiful example. Sri Ramakrishna used to say this as ripe and unripe ego. Unripe ego is that ego which says, "I'm so rich, so powerful, I'm such a great scholar, I'm well educated, I know everything." The I. Very dominating, possessive, selfish, arrogant egos, which we know to what extent these egos can go. Egos which Napoleon, Hitler had, very destructive ego. So these are called as, this sort of egos we have in the Puranas. Like, for example, Prahalada's father. He said, "I am the Lord." He's asking his son devotee, "You are not going to take the name of Hari. You are going, I am the Lord of the universe." He had all, what do you call this, yogic powers and all, which can come with hard concentration. So they are only, what do you call, Aishwaryas, or big powers. They are big powers, which almost makes you feel that you are very strong and powerful. Such type of egos, we find it in Puranas. But finally, they had their fall and they had to yield to the Supreme Divine's will or ego. So this type of, in our own time, in the modern time, or in this world itself, the present thing, we can see such hard egos. People sitting on the great position want to rule every country. We are seeing such big egos. So this is called as unripe ego, Sri Ramakrishna is saying. That's the in-between to the infinite ego or the small ego. It's a beautiful example Mataji is going to discuss, so I'm not going to say. So in spiritual life, this infinite ego is in the path of knowledge. You deny completely, and you come to such a position that you go to the very root of the ego, where you see there's only one ego. Only one ego is that, which is the ego of the sum totality of the universe. Animate, inanimate, everything together is one. And then, of course, in the path of devotion, where you deny, not I, but thou, not I, but thou. So you deny. We become humble to that extent. All our will is, it's very difficult. It isn't so easy to become a small ego, to completely disappear. It isn't such ego. It's a very hard task. We can understand so many things may happen in our life. We have no voice. You can't tell, why did this happen to me? Why should I go through this? No. Who are you to ask? There's no ego. You are nobody. As the divine wills, you have to agree. We have in the life of Girish Chandra Ghosh, he gave the power of attorney to Sri Ramakrishna. He told, now on, whatever happens to me, you are the best. I am not. I give myself completely unto you. Yes, so many calamities came over the poor man. He couldn't even weep. But he was a man of principle. He understood, I have given it. That's it. I have given the responsibility of my life unto the hands of the divine, and I will not question, come what may. Completely abiding by the will of the Lord. It means that disappearing, becoming small means it's that anything happens to me, whatever calamities falls on me, no, I will not ask why. That's the implication. And of course, when the infinite, the I becomes so big, Swami Ji in his Song of Sannyasin says, in the beginning, or he in all the poem, the Vedantic truths are there, 12 stanzas. Finally, he says, thus, day by day, till karma's power spent, release the soul forever. No more is birth, nor I, nor thou, nor man, nor God. The I has all become, and the all is I, and bliss. Know the word that Sannyasin Bo, say Om Tat Sat Om. So the I becomes the infinite I of all, including the divine. Swamiji in a very philosophical way, he says, Vedanta it dethrones God and puts the man on the throne. Dethroning of God, theistic God, even that you deny, and the soul of man, that's the one I, the infinite one I. That means it's like the ocean. The huge, vast ocean is, we know, is the compared to the pure consciousness, all-pervading consciousness. And there are huge waves, 6 meters waves can come in the ocean. We have seen, they show us. So such huge wave, it can be compared to Ishvara. Middle, normal height wave, you can consider it as our teacher, who is the mouthpiece of God, God comes in the form of our teacher, Guru. So that's the big wave. And this wave are made of thousands, millions of small, so tiny. Each one may be making noise, but can't be heard. When they come, we hear big waves roaring. So this tiny leaves are the jivas, the infinite souls in the form of man, creatures, everything. So that's a small one. We are together, then our Guru comes and teaches us either completely deny yourself or affirm yourself. You affirm yourself to such an extent that you become infinite. Becoming infinite is not so easy. This is also a painful experience. Just as to disappear is a painful experience, becoming big also is a painful. Because if it is a joy to enjoy the bliss in one body, to enjoy the bliss of infinite body is greater bliss. At the same time, infinite sorrow also. The whole humanity sorrow will be felt in our bosom. Like Swamiji, somewhere happened in Fiji, earthquake, people struggling, his nerves were so fine, he could feel the pain of them, their pain. And it was so painful for him that he woke up in the middle. Suddenly, he woke up and he said, what's happening? Something. Then Swami Vivekananda, one of his disciples, said, Swamiji, what happened? Are you not feeling well? Are you not able to sleep? Then he says, no, patient. He used to call him patient. No, patient, I was sleeping well. Suddenly, like a jolt, I felt. Somewhere, somebody, a big, a large, what do you call, quite a number of people, many. Somewhere in some part of the world, somebody, quite a few are suffering. Their pain has touched my heart. This Swami was surprised. Somewhere something is happening, and what is he saying? Who knows? And he didn't speak anything. Then in the newspaper it came that there was a huge earthquake or volcano, something like that in Fiji, and lot of lives were destroyed, life and property. People had died. So that's how becoming infinite and becoming reducing yourself to an atom isn't easy. And being in between is also not easy, because our own burden we are not able to carry. Our own karmas and our own suffering is too much for us. That also, what are we going to do? I don't know. Next.
Well, looking at
Yeah,
this.
we want the
I'm-
perspectives of the
which is-
people.
Yeah, so you're invited to ask questions and we
Yeah.
have some discussion. Now, I get worried reading this that if you're going to try to expand your ego to infinite proportions, then the danger there is you can become very arrogant, it seems to me. On the other hand, if you're contracting it to such a degree that it disappears, there's the tendency to
People walk over you.
be depressed, to be belittling yourself, poor self-esteem. Yeah, it seems both of these paths seem to be inherently tricky.
They are not inherently tricky. They are not. The trick is not inherent. The trick is, the problem is we have not really become infinite proportion. The fear comes only then. If truly, if we expand ourselves to such an extent, there should not be. Yes, as I said, somebody walking on the grass, you might feel the pain, because if you identify yourself, can that identification come so? It comes with great evolution. So when that evolution comes, there is no fear. There is no fear, because so much of discernment and detachment are there. The bird can fly into the infinite space without fear. Nothing will come. The fear is that because we are standing for the other side of the scenario and we are observing that, so we have that fear. We are taking our fear and trying to understand that. You know? But that's why these are high state. That is why the Upanishads and the Gita or Jnana Yoga says the four disciplines are very, very, very important. Discernment, detachment, 6 virtues, and desire for liberation. If these 4 are very clear and we are established in that, I don't think that fear will come. That it will never come. No. Arrogance won't. The very fact arrogance is there means we are not. We haven't understood the universality of your soul. Because, of course, arrogance cannot remain. It's ripe ego, ripe ego. So, for example, Sri Ramakrishna says another example he gives. Sankaracharya had the ego of knowledge, he says. What is meant by ego of knowledge? When one comes to understand one's infinite consciousness through meditation, what happens? The mind dies. The mind doesn't exist. Your own individuality doesn't exist. Who is going to teach? Who is going to teach the scripture? Who is the proof? Then you become almost inert, like a dead matter. So much so, when Dr. Mahendra Lal came and put his finger in Sri Ramakrishna's eyes, no reaction. The body was almost dead. No heartbeat, no pulse, no breathing. All voluntary, involuntary organs have completely stopped. That is why he went and tested. He put his finger on the eyeballs of Sri Ramakrishna, which were wide open, thinking that it may react. Because naturally, eyes will react. But it didn't. So he was dead to the world. Supposing, and then he came back. He came back. Why? Sri Ramakrishna says the mother has kept a tiny bit of ego in me, the ego of devotee. And that ego slowly comes back to the normal consciousness. And that is why he could give the knowledge of the other world, the knowledge of transcendental reality. He could speak to us as much as possible. It cannot be spoken completely, but as much as he could, he has. That is why the scriptures accept all the, when the karmas are burnt, the knowledge comes. Sri Krishna says in the Gita, when the karmas are burnt, the knowledge comes, the realization of Dharma. Sankaracharya makes a comment. All the karmas will be burnt. Like Ethaidhamsi Samidhogni, Bhasmasat Kurite Arjuna, Jnanagni Sarva Karmani. The knowledge of the fire of knowledge burns all karma. Shankaracharya makes a comment. Yes, it does all, except the prarabdha karma, the karma which has been opened, the package that we have opened for this thing, it is open. Because that has to be there. Only then scriptural truth can be taught. Who else will teach? If everybody's become like an inert and then go away, who will teach the scriptures? Who is the proof of spiritual realization? Here is a man of infinite, who has evolved himself into infinite proportions, where he doesn't have his selfishness absolutely. He feels his oneness with the universe. His compassion has no discernment. It goes to everyone, be it a black man, white man, women, men, women, poor, rich, ignorant, knowledgeable, to everyone, to animals, to all. Look at the heart of Buddha. After Nirvana, he came. How can he come? Nirvana is no mind. How could he come back? Because these people have got a mission in life to do. So they came back. If the Lord feels that he is going to do some work, making you and me as an instrument, he might bring. Sri Ramakrishna says, but the ordinary souls, when they come in contact with such high, great degree of bliss, they just lose themselves. They will never even bother of coming back. And the body will grow in 21 days. Because that joy is so much that we will never even look at it, look at the world, even by mistake. No, the world and its miseries, its individuality is erased oneself. We just merge in it. The ordinary souls don't have that much of strength to withstand, renounce that joy and come back to the mundane world and help man. No. So great souls with great compassion, great heart, they ignore Brahmananda, the infinite bliss, and come back to the world of misery, to help, to lift man. So that such things are very rare. But for us, by refinement, it's the ultimate. But refinement, what we can say is we understand our spiritual kinship with people. So we will not have this sort of arrogant behavior. You can say Hitler, that was an arrogance. Nazi idea. It's an ignorance. It's an evil idea. Men of high ego, they entertain such ideas. So that is the danger. Otherwise, it is fine. Any more? Anyone else? No one from the
We can,
other side?
we can move on.
Mm.
Got a bit of material to get through.
Mm.
Escaping the net of illusion.
Mm.
Girish Chandra Ghosh, who, by the way, as you see there, he was a brilliant dramatist, actor, writer, director, very well known even now in Calcutta. Very graphically and dramatically exemplifies this in his inimitable way, saying, Divine Mother, Mahamaya, cast her net to catch people. She caught everyone except two, Swami Vivekananda and Nag Mahasaya. Nag Mahasaya was the embodiment of humility, devotion. Swami Vivekananda's eye expanded to such proportions that Mahamaya's net was not big enough to catch him. However, Nag Mahasaya was so humble and unobtrusive, he became so tiny that he slipped away through the meshes.
Okay. Any comments from others? Then it will become a lecture. Come on. Nag Mahasaya was a very great devotee. He hailed from East Bengal, and he was a very great devotee. We get very little about him because he was self-effacing man, that he never came, and he came only at rare time. A couple of times he must have met Sri Ramakrishna, and he really was ready for renunciation. But Sri Ramakrishna said, no, you are not going to renounce. You are going to live in the world and show how much a person can spiritually evolve even in the living in as a householder. So very great, very, very great. No. He was, for the namesake, he was married. He never had any children or anything. It's all, it was almost like a sannyasi. You know, those days child marriage.
Oh, Sridhar Pranam, just going to the last, in the last slide, Robert linked the idea of ego to your self-esteem, meaning that, your understanding of yourself or what you feel as yourself is somehow linked to your ego. So, and here you're seeing two examples of people where where the self-esteem is present, but it's expressed in two different ways. So can you explain that better, at least, so I have a better understanding of what's the right level of self-esteem that one should have if it's somehow linked to an ego?
Yes. Yeah, that's a nice thought. The I, Swami Vivekananda's eye has expanded to such a proportions. So Swami Vivekananda knows the nature of I. What is the nature of the I? For us, I mean, what's the I? For us, I means I am an individual. First, we identify ourselves with this physical organism, that I am a woman, this person is a man, this sort of gross, very grossest I. Even when you ask, who did this? I did it. I means I did it, this person. Then we have got the subtler dimension of the I is the mind. So body and mind, that also is. Sometimes we identify ourselves with the I, with the mind. The bodily pain is not so important for us. The mind, the thoughts of the mind, the mental life is so absorbing. its destructions or its growth or its good, whatever it is, that becomes so tangible. We live in mostly in the realm of ideas. And that depends upon what you have in you. Good ideas, you will be a noble person. If we have ideas like Hitler, you will be a demon. So living purely in the mental level. And in the mental level, there are two levels we can say. One is the mental level, which is always flickery, which is always, flimsy, moving, oscillating. But there is a higher mind. That is what we call as intellect. In Hinduism, it's a higher mind, you can say. What we say, intellect. In English, we call it as intellect. That's the intellect is a higher mind. The pure intellect, what the Gita says, buddhi, that is not actually this one, not this. We say when we intellect, we mean this. But what Gita says, buddhi, which we generally convert it as intellect, is not that. It's not this. It's this. The heart. Heart is the seat. Hence, this is expanded. The buddhi, what it says, this is expanded. So Swamiji knew which is what the true nature of I. When Swamiji said I am this, I because of me. See, the Swami used to, in a funny way, in a jokingly, he used to say, he lived in eternities. He was not at all in a hurry to anything. Those who acted as secretaries for him, wherever he was, somebody came forward to help him. There's a lecture fixed and he has to be by at that time. He is leisurely getting. Swami, we will be late. We will be missing the train. Doesn't matter. There will be another train. And don't worry, there will be no fun till I go. But you may say, we may think, what an arrogant man. As if there is no fun, nothing glamorous is there until I go. That means, what a big ego this fellow is having. We would think. Ordinary people who didn't know him would think. But his secretaries didn't think. They had to yield to his will and remain calm and go according to his pace. And in time he came and he did a wonderful job. Amazing job he did. Could elevate the minds of the people to such a great extent. But he just, in a jokingly, he said, there will be no fun till I go. So that means to say, his ego was not like our raw ego. His ego was divine. When I go, everything will be all right. Don't worry. The people will, will not mind the times, the way the time sense, the Swami doesn't have a time sense. Such type of ideas, they will not even entertain when I go there. Their minds will be elevated. So when Swamiji said, Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham, I am Sachidananda, infinite breath, existence, consciousness, bliss absolute. He knew what he's saying. He doesn't mean the body, nor the mind, nor the buddhi, nor even the ego. He means something that which is behind the ego, which is the bedrock of the ego. That is I, Swamiji says. Same this Nag Mahashai he was there with Swamiji. And Swamiji sang this song, Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham. And Nag Mahashai every time said, Naham, Naham, Tuhu, Tuhu. Then Sri Ramakrishna said, when Naren says Chidananda Rupa Shivoham, he means it. He made Nag Mahashai know that when Naren says Chidananda Rupa Shiva, he means it exactly. He knows what he means by that. And he is that. From then on, Nag Mahashai always looked upon Swamiji as Shiva himself. So that is the thing. That comes with the evolution. The I-ness, how it grows. The Swamiji's I-ness, it comes with the sadhana and reasoning it comes. For us, we have to apply it. It may not be a matter of experience to us. It may not be a matter of experience to us, but our reasoning and our knowledge of the scriptures will refine our ego. We will not, like supposing you go to a certain place and you have some discussion and you place your arguments, whatever it is. There are others too. The many may oppose it. You try your best to convince without losing your temper or anything. Coolly, as much as possible, we try to place it. If they can't accept it, you just we keep quiet. A person of that, what do you call, refined ego, he will keep quiet because there's no need for him to assert. They will not assert it. Truth will reveal itself. One day or the other day, they will accept it. There are many people who have kept quiet. Their scientific conclusions were not accepted by the royal societies or anything like that. But later on, it was found. The credit may go to someone else. This always happens. But we seek only the truth and we place it to the world and we try to prove it as much as possible. Accepting and non-accepting is left to them. We cannot. So many scientists in India, they were deprived because we were a conquered nation. We were just pushed. And the same thesis came by someone else took it, got it. But should we? We know the light. We have seen the light, we know the light. That's it. Many scientists were deprived. What happens? The refined ego will not assert itself. That I think that's the one way, because when my ego becomes refined, I will be able to tell you it isn't, it's still it rawness is there. So, but I think a refined ego will not assert itself. It only speaks the truth and leaves it for the people to judge and take it. And it is happy because it knows it is in the path of truth or right thing. That's all. And I think that should be the way to assert the right ego.
I can move on. So here's an example of an universal ego, immersed in the soul. Swami Vivekananda liked Shiva very much. Shiva sitting on the top of the Himalayas, alone and undisturbed, sitting alone in his aloneness and enjoying the majesty of his soul. Such a beautiful depiction. Swamiji wanted to identify himself with Shiva, from whom his mother got him through prayer. He wanted to experience his soul's infinite nature, and many times he did, like the time he was traveling by ship to the west. They were crossing the Mediterranean. It was dusk. The sun was setting, and the moon was making its appearance. Swamiji was walking on the deck. Sister Nivedita, his Irish disciple, was watching him. She thought, here is a great yogi, immersed in the glory of his soul, walking up and down on the deck of this ship. Far away in the distance, the volcano Etna was spitting out sparks without erupting. The scene reflected in the water, along with the greenery of Messina on the other side. The ship was moving between the two. The sky was darkening, and Sister Nivedita, being very poetic, drank in the beauty of the scene. Suddenly, Swamiji stopped and, turning to her, said, Messina should be thankful to me for her beauty. Sister Nivedita understood that at that moment, Swamiji had crossed the frontiers of his human personality as Vivekananda and had merged himself into the infinite. He had expanded himself to infinite proportions. So he had every right to say that. Anything around him owed him a debt for its beauty. That was Swami Vivekananda, God's power of cosmic illusion. Mahamaya could not trap him because he had expanded his ego to encompass the whole universe, and Maya's net became too small for him. Neither could Mahamaya catch Nag Mahashaya, as he became so minute for his self-effacement that he escaped through the meshes. So yeah, kind of, this takes a bit of understanding though. Like Swami Vivekananda, that's like a mystical experience, I guess.
Yes, it is. It is. You are so big, the ego is completely identified with a lot of creation, God himself, with the creator. So naturally, his ego feels this whole creation owes its existence or its beauty or whatever to me. That's why he's not speaking as a Vivekananda. He's like how Sri Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita, you see everywhere Sri Krishna says, I. So many. Ahamatma Godagara. I am in this, I'm in that, I'm in this, I'm in that. Oh, among the water, I am this one, among the mountains, I am this one, among the tree, I am this one, among the birds, I am this one. What is that I? What are that I? They are not like Krishna, Vasudeva Devaki's son. No. The psychophysical organism which manifested itself at that time during that age for the redemption of the sadhus, paritranaya sadhunam. So it is not that. It's not that body he meant. He meant the infinite Atman, he as the supreme reality. The same way here Swamiji is. He just giving a small glimpses. It's very hard for the people. Just another one, when I was reading, I remembered another incident in Swamiji's. Just imagine, Swamiji was very handsome. What a wonderful person, the physique he had, the charm, and when we mustn't explain so much. Anyway, you all know him. So handsome a person. One day, he was in Miss Waldo's house. And she used to all edit his talks, put them in, she used to take it in shorthand or longhand, and she would make the notes of it, everything she's doing. And Swamiji was pacing up and down in the corridor or whatever it is. And there was a big mirror there. Swamiji went and stood there in front of it, and then turned back, and he would walk to a certain extent, again come back and stand a few minutes in front of the. So Waldo observed, however big you may be, however you may speak of over you, still he admires his own beauty. See, because he's handsome, he feels. So he has that feeling of that body consciousness is there. So he's feeling. So she thought, immediately he turned, Miss Waldo, it's strange. I'm going and standing in front of the mirror and trying to see myself and keep that image of my figure in my mind. But when I walk, I forget it. I just forget how I look. Imagine the mind, where his mind is. He is looking at his image, his reflection, and trying to impress it on the mind. This is Vivekananda. He is 5 feet 2 inches or 5 feet 4 inches, something. He is this height. He's trying to impress on his mind. Even we don't see our face. We have the idea of our face in our mind. When we see the mirror, that's there. We can never forget it. Because it's our face, it's our body. We can never forget it. So he's standing and he's trying to bring that image in his mind, to make the mind conscious of that image. But by the time he walks 10 steps, he forgets it. So the idea of body consciousness is not at all there. It is just there for the good of the world, to just work out. And I'm just making a bit of digression. Later on, after a long time, when Swami Turiyananda was there, some devotees, they used to go and do Satprasanga, talk about philosophy and all that. Casually one day somebody mentioned, oh, it's a pity that Swami Vivekananda passed away just when he was not even 40. Had he been alive, how much work he could have done it. And Duryananda Maharaj, he being a Vedantin, a lion of Vedanta, he said, what do you mean? Such an infinite soul. How could he contract himself and become so small and be confined in that psychophysical organism? How much of compassion to the humanity? How much of love for humanity should have been there in his heart that he could confine himself, that power in the small psychophysical, it would have shattered. It was shattering the molecules or what all the matter. Matter couldn't hold it. It would break down any day. He was literally aware of it. That is why sometimes he would become intolerant with his brother disciples when they couldn't keep the pace with him. He wanted the things to be done quickly because he knew that this body is too weak to hold that big power in it. It may shatter at any time. He wanted to get the work done quickly. And poor things, these cannot understand it. Other brother disciples, they can't understand. They have their own pace. They can't do it. He wants quick results. He wanted somehow the mankind should understand its divinity and India should understand its dignity and get out of the slavery. Twofold. For the nation and for the world. He doesn't come. Twofold is his mission. One, he came for the universe and for India, both. So he wanted mankind to understand the divinity of their soul. And he wanted specifically India to understand the human dignity, get out of this slavery and assert themselves. So this was the twofold mission which he wanted to do it. So that body wouldn't hold it. Such was the power that was there in the Vivekananda. So he couldn't even think of himself as matter. He speaks of Videha, Sita, Ramayana's, Sita, Sri Rama's wife, Gloria. Her father was called as Janaka. His other name is Videha, means one who had no body consciousness. Videha. They had given the name Videha Rajdevi, who never felt. He always felt himself to be spirit, all pervading. So that men on the throne, not ordinary people. That's why Swamiji says, kings on the throne have discussed. And great men have worked for it. And worst of humanity has hoped. Hope for liberation or knowledge is worst thing. It can be had it, and we need to assert our divinity. That's what Swamiji says. Best among the humanity have realized it, and worst among humanity have hoped for it. The worst of the humanity hope. So hoping for immortality or illumination is something very degrading, because it can be had it. We can have it, provided we work for it.
Caught in the middle. We are in the middle. We're not able to expand our ego to infinite proportions. We also do not think we're so small as to escape through the meshes. Our ego is inflated, and so we struggle. Sri Ramakrishna says, when the net is cast, people like us catch hold of the meshes tightly between our teeth and then dig into the mud just as fish do. We hide our heads in the mud and think we are safe. We enjoy the gurgling of the stream, the pleasures of the world, believing that it is all right. When Mahamaya pulls the net, then we are all caught.
Yeah, yes.
Bleak predicament being.
Yeah, she has
depicted
put
there.
both together. Yeah, that is true. The gurgling of the water, the fish like, and the gurgling of the sense pleasures and the worldly pleasures, we like. And people of that caliber, this type of people, they think, oh, these spiritual people, who said they must have been a failure in their lives. That is why they are God, 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 and have left. They speak. One person, when I was going, before coming here, I had to go through all these medical things and all. One young man was there with me in there. There. He was also coming to see me. So we naturally, we were sitting for such a long time. We talk, who are you, where are you going, and all that. I said, I'm going to Sydney. Sydney? What are you going to do there? I asked, what are you going to do there? I asked. I'm a businessman. So am I said. You, what business? What business do you do? What business do you do? I asked him. He has some shop. See, a lot of Indian shops are there. So it must be some sort of small business he's having. Anyway, what business do you do? I have my business with God and man. I said, straight to say, yes, I have got my business with God and man. I'm interested between them both. And I help humanity, and I have got a very friendly relationship with God. I spoke literally that he thought, something has gone wrong with this lady. He must have thought. I said, that, yeah, of course. If you think your business is right, I can assert my business is also right. My business is with God and man. Your business is with money and world. Both are correct. So you cannot look down upon me. I just gave. It was a very funny thing, So people think like that. What are these others going to do? So somebody had asked Gayatri Panji, failure in life. Didn't get, something must have happened and lost. And so come. That's how they think we come to the back doors of the world. No, we don't come from the back door. We come right in the front door. We are claiming our kingdom. And in the Upanishad, the Vedas says, Virat. So a spiritual aspirant is claiming his treasure or his kingdom. That's why kingdom of heaven, Christ spoke. And Balagangadhar Tilak, our political freedom fighter, he used that word, that Virat, Swarat. He said, Swaraj. Swaraj is my birthright. Our own, the liberty of my motherland is my birthright. It's my birthright to live in a free country. Get out. That was his word. Swaraj is my birthright. This Swaraj, he took it from the Vedas, Swarat, who is the master of the universe. Like the Messina has to be grateful to me for her beauty, Swamiji said. So that's the claim. So once when one understands one's infinite dimension or nature, one becomes strong. Like how the yogi in the forest, he could not be threatened by Alexander. Alexander came across a yogi, spoke to him, and found him a very wonderful man. He wanted him to take him. The yogi said, no, I'm not going to come. He requested, he pleaded. And when the yogi was not ready to go with him, he threatened, I will kill you. And what did he say? He laughed at him. This is the greatest lie you can tell. Me, you, a man of world, killing. I, the infinite spirit. What Gita says. Nainam chindanti shastrani, nainam dahati pavaka. The sword cannot kill, the fire cannot burn. I am that. And you, a man of world, going around and conquering the nations, you can do. No, you can never. That's the greatest lie you are telling. So this is the boldness which enables to face the cannon. That's the greatness and the boldness of spiritual man. Spiritual boldness, And spiritual understanding gives strength. And its strength is not arrogant. Its strength is strength of spirit. So there can never be arrogance in it. If there is arrogance, then we should know it is not, because arrogance comes from ignorance, not from knowledge. In the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, you can see these things. From Sri Ramakrishna discussing. Does the arrogance come from ignorance or knowledge? It comes from ignorance, not from knowledge. Knowledge of the self. Even if we cannot feel our infinite, big greatness, we can feel the interconnectedness and have mutual respect and love, understanding, which is very, very essential for the modern world. And there is no prayer here. There is no prayer. You have said concluding prayer. Anyone else?
So do I understand this correctly, that Mahamaya
Mm.
catches all those of unripe ego?
Yes. Mahamaya catches, because unripe ego, see, Mahamaya has two dimensions. Maya has, one is, cosmically she's called as Mahamaya. Cosmic ignorance, individual ignorance. Some totality of the ignorance, it is the power of the Lord, power of the Lord. We should understand what it is meant by. It's the power of the Lord. Individual ignorance, microcosm ignorance. The microcosm dimension of ignorance is the individual ignorance which we have. And how it is? For example, snake, take a snake, poisonous snake. It eats its food through its mouth, but it's immune. Nothing happens to it. But if it bites, it's fatal for the person. The ignorance is the Lord's power. Maya is Lord's power. Sri Ramakrishna says, Brahman and Shakti are one and the same. Brahman is the, what do you call, he compares it to a snake, which coiled up snake, and snake in moving. The wriggling snake, that is Mahamaya. The one coiled up snake is Brahman. Or the infinite ocean is Brahman, the waves are Maya. But Maya is the power of Brahman. Paramesha Shakti. That is why the Lord is not deluded. He is Mayadhish, because it's his power. It's under his control. But we are Mayadhin. We are under the control. Maya. So we are subjected to it. Hence, this problem. That is how Vedanta describes the duality. Not bringing a, what do you call, Saturn. Saturn is the not solution. Saturn is from outside. There's a good, there's a bad. There's a Lord doing everything good, and there's a Saturn doing. That's not the explanation of duality in Vedanta. Vedanta says whatever is it's from within. It's from within. So this ignorance can be overcome, because though ignorance is without the beginning, it has an end. Because with the knowledge, it goes. Because when the sun rises, darkness is bound to go. When I get the knowledge, the ignorance goes. So, how do we explain the microcosm ignorance? Microcosm, just imagine now, the sun is there. A patch of cloud can cover the sun, but can the sun be ever covered? A cloud can never cover, but it can cover what? Cloud what? My vision. So individual ignorance is like that. The individual ignorance covers the buddhi and thinks I'm an individual person. That is the how the ego comes. But if the individual ego Ignorance goes through sadhanas, through reasoning, through purity, through concentration, through self-effacement. I'm including all the 4 yogas in this. Self-effacement, we deny, we subjugate our ego through work. It's a very big thing. When we come to work together, the clash of ego comes. We know how much, what all it can do. The effects are very tangible for us. Through meditation, we sharpen the mind so much that it becomes almost rippleless. And where there is no ripple in the mind, there is no mind. When there is no mind, there is nothing to obstruct the truth. We come into contact with the truth. Or through bhakti, denying, becoming small, negating ourselves and affirming God's will. Through love, we become one with God. That's it. What has to be achieved is achieved. And through reasoning, through jnana, through all this, we refine our egos to such an extent that either they expand or they become nothing at all. This is the essence. In between, till we get that, trouble is there. It will be there.
So just one other question. Within the group of unripe egos, there's a great variation between those who are very ignorant and those who are very enlightened.
Yes, yes. See, a person absolutely nothing who thinks education, beauty, power, wealth, this is beyond and end all. Such person and a person who knows has come in contact with scriptural studies, meditation, has a divine name as for the help. Isn't there any difference between them? There is. And we are in various degrees. That's why Sri Ramakrishna says, when the net is cast, there are certain very intelligent fish, which they will never fall into it. They can very quickly make out through the vibrations, the net is coming, they just skip. They are the ever free people. And there are quite intelligent and powerful fish. When the net is about to fall, they run, they splash and go and fall away. And then the fishermen say, there escaped a big fish. They are like the spiritual aspirants who have really worked on themselves. And even while living, they have found their infinite proportions and are liberated even while living. And there are struggling fish. They're caught, but they're struggling. At least we should respect that they're struggling. At least they're trying. Whether they get the freedom or whether they escape from the net, that's a different issue. But they do struggle. They understand that we are caught. How am I to go? So they try this way, that way. For that we have to respect. And there are some fish, let alone knowing whether they know that the net is there or not, they catch the string of the net in their mouth and go deep into the mud and cover their head. We are safe, nothing will happen. And the fishermen will come and drag it. The time. Fishermen who? The time. All pervading, all consuming time, all devouring time comes and removes. And then we have seen people, when something happens, somebody may bring them and they ask, this has happened to us. They ask us to pray. They are our devotees. They are people, they are suffering. We pray, maybe by luck, due to their karma. I will not be so arrogant to say because of my prayers, my prayers are answered. No, I won't say that. Maybe they are good karma and something, they might get the good results. After that, there is no, what do you call, you feel a gratitude, a sense of gratitude, not to show for us, to the divine. Pay your gratitude to Sri Ramakrishna. No, we don't believe in all that. There are people who have said this. No, we don't believe in all this. And then something happens, then they will come. So this is the type of people they are. Utterly worldly, utterly. You don't have to be spiritual, but you think there is some power behind. There is a power behind which is regulating, where all your tricks won't work. All your efforts won't work. There is a place, there is a power which is beyond all this. That at least we should have faith in it. No, there's nothing of that sort. There's nothing in this. The matter itself. In Gita, Shri Krishna says, there's nothing called as God or anything in this world. It's just the mutual attraction of the bodies. Shri Krishna is dealing in the Daivasura Sampad Vibhaga. He says, people of that Asuri Sampad, they believe. It's just the molecules get together and does it. There is no Anishwara, Apratishtam, Asatyam Apratishtamte, Jagadahu Anishwaram, Asatyam. There's nothing stable in this universe. Apratishtam, it's not established in anything. Things are coming, everything is floating and going. Anishwaram, there is nothing, there's no God or anything. So there are people who speak. Sri Krishna is telling us in the Bhagavad Gita. So these are all the different. So when the fish is caught, different. So we are all the fish in that. Struggling fish, hiding fish. This is how it goes. Jumping fish are there. Who knows who has jumped out? We do not know. Okay, I think it's finished. Okay, thank you.
Please note, we don't have the Friday night discussions for the next 2 Friday nights. The next one will be on the 28th of November. Next Sunday of special note is that Avrajika and Apanaji will be giving the talk. The topic is Holy Mother, the embodiment of purity, simplicity, and solemnity. And just a reminder that the final talk in the 4 yogas series, Sridhara Pranaji will be giving that on the 23rd, Sunday, 23rd of November, on Jnana Yoga, part 2. And then we've only got one more talk, Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, at the end of November, and then we go into our summer recess schedule. So of course we'll keep you informed about all of that. Now we'll conclude with a guided meditation which I'll conduct, and as usual, I'll need a few minutes to get set up for that.